Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and this is me on my pontoon boat yesterday.
Okay everybody, I told you that I've always wanted to have a pontoon boat, but more importantly, I always wanted to have the official sponsor of the Digital Asset Investor pontoon boat. So I'm out here on the boat, and I wanted to make sure everybody knew that the official sponsor of the Digital Asset Investor channel is Marcy Willems, okay? She's with EXP Realty out of Southern Arizona. You can check her out at wiselisting.com. That's WISELIS.
Anyway, I'll show you. This is Marcy Willems right here, Wise Listing. So she's apparently with a big outfit out of Arizona in real estate. So if you're in that area, give her check her out. That's WISE listing.com. Let's check this out. This is Coin Paprika, and these are some of the digital assets I've been accumulating. We've got Theta doing the best right now, the last 24 hours. Quant, Algorand, Stellar. Well, not too much. IOTA. So things are kind of flat, a little bit of green, but nothing major right now. There's a lot of things going on right now. Look at this. Now, this is an interesting thread right here. This is BitBoy. Now I know everybody. Anytime he says anything bordering on that he's got sources or whatever, everybody gets mad. But here it looks like he has deep sources in politics. But what he says here is kind of interesting. Some of it. A crypto regulation legislation thread. I spoke with someone today, a deep insider, folks. This isn't just an insider. This is a deep insider, deep in politics, with contacts everywhere. Here's a thread with what I think are the biggest takeaways from my conversation. The Loomis-Gillibrand bill is high priority right now, as we have additional bill in the Senate to declare Bitcoin, Ethereum commodity. It's important to note the responsible then it says, why you ask, stablecoin regulation. This is the most important aspect of the bill. Let's go down. This is where things get very interesting. The next step, and no one is talking about this, is the creation of a U.S. crypto governing body like the SEC or CFTC. I've been begging for this ever since I started my channel in 2018. I know that what you're thinking is just another corrupt government organization. While all government agencies will have bad players, anything is better than the SEC. This person confirmed the SEC is seen as corrupt even by the politicians. More on this in a bit. The CFTC, led by Caroline D. Pham, is seen by the politicians as a much more structured agency with much less corruption. I was told Caroline is a rock star and has put boots on the ground to actually understand crypto and blockchain. CFTC seen as leader in crypto due to the groundwork laid by Christian Carlo. Crypto Dad. CFTC is in a great position to regulate established cryptos as commodities. Not sure how new agency will work with them, but they are favored over the SEC. The XRP army will love this. Gary Gensler has in fact fallen out of favor. Imagine that. I've been predicting that he's gone by the end of January. The person I spoke with agreed this is a realistic timeline. Person also agreed there's a chance Ripple case results in total destruction of the SEC. Wow. If it doesn't happen, it's likely just due to not wanting to rock the boat around midterms. XRP Army would also like to know senators, Congress are aware of Bill Hinman situation, and they all know it's corrupt. ETH got a path. Now remember, BitBoy's the same guy who said that this ETHgate thing was a little overblown not too long ago when we were all shouting it from the rooftops. He's the same guy who was saying, "Oh, I won't go that far with it," but now he is. If this doesn't happen, it's most likely due to not wanting to rock the boat. You'd also like to know that they know about Bill Hinman. ETH got a pass thanks to Hinman getting bribed. Wow. Senate, Congress were also aware of the corruption surrounding SEC in general. These are real issues getting brought up. John Deaton's uncovering of multiple conflicts of interest compliance issues by Gary Gensler is making a difference and politicians are listening. That, hey, for any of you out there, I see this in my threads. When we tweet this stuff out and these people come under the tweets and we copy Congresswoman, they come under the tweets and they say, oh, well, you're obviously not getting anything done with tweets and so you need to do something more than tweets. You're wrong. These tweets that have been copying these people in and tweeting out these videos and timelines, we've changed the game, folks, and anybody who thinks otherwise just isn't paying attention and doesn't know what in the hell they're talking about. Because we've changed the freaking game. Even if you don't see it, we've changed the game. Half of this stuff in this thread is because of what we did when nobody was helping us. Nobody. Now, back to this. Some good politicians are leading the charge. Loomis, Gillibrand, Tom Emmer. These people actually do care and want crypto done right. You should support these people and watch them closely. But overall, she seems to be able to make independent decisions. Let's see. Anything else interesting in this? Let's see. Some of this. Last items. Insider trading regulation for politicians will be coming as soon as Speaker Pelosi steps down as Speaker. They all know what she's doing. Hopefully this will be after the midterms. I was able to confirm even Democrats hate Brad Sherman, literally everyone. So anyway, pretty interesting thread from deep inside information. Bitcoin, I'm not going to play this video, but it's basically, I just wanted to point out that there's the Bitcoin maxis see the Ethereum blood in the water and they're coming out and saying, yeah, Ethereum's a security, because the Bitcoin people, I think, know that they don't have any utility. And so they've got to they've got to be on an island by themselves with the only one with any kind of regulatory clarity in order to survive. This is something I ran across in what I've been talking about, and I just wanted to point it out to you. Many of you that are new to social media, you've seen a lot of this 589 stuff. It's like a meme. But I wanted to show you what I think it really comes from. Many of you may remember Miguel Valles, who used to run XRP markets. He came from the CME Group. CME Group also was an original investor in Ripple. Well, there was a rule. It's called the COMEX Rule 589, and I think that it's never really been about the actual dollar price of $589. And if you look in this report, Miguel Valles is actually on the report, and then he leaves the CME Group and he goes to Ripple. But you can study about. I'm not trying to get into COMEX 589 other than just to show you that I was doing some research on some other things and I just happened to come across this. You ought to read it. It's kind of interesting read. Breaking from Procoin News, who ProcoinNews.com is the official sponsor of the digital asset investor hunting and fishing club, not the pontoon boat, the hunting and fishing club. Breaking, Wells Fargo says cryptocurrencies have evolved into a valid portfolio option. So what about the Ripple who had their accounts closed for buying crypto? What about the Ripple? What about the people who had their accounts closed for buying crypto? Exactamundo. Now, here's a nice little clip. This is interesting. And what I took from XRP Darren, he's a great follow, at Fame21More. And these are a bunch of people who are in the DC bubble, and it's not an issue to them at all, the fact that the SEC is having a turf war instead of doing what the SEC was supposedly created to do, which is to protect investors. So they're having a conversation about something totally different.
It really changed the conversation. But the one thing I would say is nothing is going to stop Gary Gensler. All these reports that are required, he's independent and has support from a lot of Democrats. So you're going to see, more and more enforcement actions likely and rulemakings coming out of there.
Dina, if I can jump in real quickly, I think that's one of the most important things I think about the Lummis-Gillibrand piece of legislation that they dropped today. was that I've read the summary that the Digital Chamber put out. I've not read the bill yet, but what I'm reading is that it gives primacy to the SEC and the Fed. So at least, yeah, you're right. Gensler's not going away, but one of the nice things about the proposal in the legislation is that it's going to centralize regulation to a certain extent. Keep in mind, without guidance, I mean, when Kathy and I were at CFPB, we thought we had a piece of digital. So did the OCC, so did the CFTC. I mean, everybody thought they had a piece of it. So it's nice to sort of get.
Okay, so anyway, these guys are there. It's not even an issue. The fact that Gary it's kind of like the turf war. Oh, this is to be expected stuff. No. Turf war, what does that have to do with protecting the people? Absolutely nothing. It has to do with people who have been in government for too long and need to have their butts fired. All right, now, we were talking in the last few days about how Brad Garlinghouse was invited to Messari's Mainnet 2022 in September to speak. There he is right there. These people hate Ripple, have always hated Ripple, and now they're inviting him to the party. But who else did they invite? I wanted to show you because I think it's important. Because Jack McDonald is the CEO of Polyson. And Polyson is a thing we can't really talk about because it's the most secretive custody project in the world. We don't even know who their customers are right now. But he got invited to this as well. And this gets me interested. But it also interests me because of this. This came out, was it yesterday? Ripple, we're going gazing with FinTech in the Cloud podcast. Ripple's James Wallace, VP of CBDCs, covers several topics. The difference between crypto and CBDCs, trends in CBDCs, our CBDC Innovate Hackathon. And then Digital Perspectives put out this little clip. I think it's from that same podcast. Let me start it.
Absolutely. So as we thought about how we would get started on this, building out this solution and platform, cloud was the front and center. We've been deploying nodes on AWS for years.
We've been deploying nodes on AWS, Amazon Web Services, for years. We'll get back to that.
Internally within Ripple. So when we decided to create the CBDC ledger, we've deployed it through a sandbox on AWS. As we sort of roll out projects with central banks, I think most of them will want a cloud infrastructure. There may be some for regulatory purpose that need to do an on-premise implementation, but I think certainly at this stage of pilots and proof of concepts and early implementations, people see the benefit of a cloud-based structure. In fact, we will be using the CBDC ledger on the cloud as part of this CBDC Innovate program that I mentioned previously. My prediction is that pretty much every country that has a central bank will eventually issue a digital version of their currency.
So do I, James. Would you say, at least in the next decade, you think that a certain percentage will be moving this way? Regulations are just always so interesting, depending on what market you're referring to. But it looks like most governments and central banks seem to be quite open about digital currencies. So do you see this potentially happening in the next 10 to 15 years? So, most governments will, or central banks at least, will be more or be adapting to CBDC?
I'm always very optimistic, and I think the leading countries that are furthest along, I think it will be in the 2 to 5 year period. China is very advanced on digital currency, although it's not really blockchain based. It's much more of a centralized system.
Right.
There have been some notable pilots around early programs like in the Bahamas. So I think we're seeing now the market on the whole going from like research into like pilots, right? I think the pilots is the name of the game for the next couple of years. And then I think that will then start to go into early stage implementations. I think the implementations will probably all start with 1 or 2 specific use cases and will be relatively limited. But I think certainly by 10 years from now, I think it'll be just pervasive and people won't even be thinking about the conversations we're having now, right? It'll just be everyone has it and they'll be using it. At a broader level as a company, we're always innovating and we're expanding our offerings. So we have RippleNet, we have some offerings around liquidity management, and now central bank digital currencies. The journey will continue to be financially based and payments sort of centered, but I can see other add-ons, if you like, over the coming years. I mean, in my particular area, one of the countries that we're working with is already thinking about DeFi using CBDC.
All right, so you can kind of see where that's going. Now, here's the other thing. Remember, he said they've put nodes on AWS, Amazon Web Services. Now, this is from Esoteric XRP. We've talked about Kendra Hill. I'm fascinated with the people who used to talk like they knew something and then they disappeared off social media. Esoteric XRP says, 1, Kendra Hill revealed a few things back in 2018. 1, XRP and XLM were the chosen ones. 2, Ripple and Amazon AWS announcement coming. 3, Codius is not dead. That was the smart contracts platform for Ripple. 4, cross-border payments was only a test. The $100+ trillion derivatives market is the real target. 2, we're witnessing the development of new megalithic financial structure and scale never seen before. I won't go through it, but they mentioned PolySign custody right there. Okay, I'll stop there. Here is the actual Kendra Hill mention right here. A partnership years in the making and a deal which was negotiated in 2015. Amazon holds stake in 5 billion XRP. Currently, that XRP is in a locked account. You mean locked in escrow? Until the partnership is made public. Why has this been kept secret? Let me first respond to this by asking you a question. Why does the price of XRP not move when new partnerships are announced? The answer to my question is that XRP has no use cases currently. This will soon change. When it does, the price will rise quickly. They are very selective when announcing new partnerships publicly. So to answer your question, it is in the best interest of everyone involved to keep the price as low as possible, allowing major investors to buy in early, while also pushing away investors from the lower class. When the Amazon partnership is announced, the world will be talking about XRP. Millions of people will buy XRP on that day, so this partnership is being saved for a later date. And then we have this. Well, I'm going to skip that one. I'm going to let you hear the last part of what this guy says. After the collapse, you'll see a new entity surface. I'm going to get this last part. Watch this.
Interest rates low. Well, you can't be the parent that spoils the child and then also be the one that's hard-nosed and says, well, we're going to raise interest rates because inflation's getting out of control. You can't do that. And that was the beginning of the chain reaction that I'll talk about in the presentation. After the collapse, you'll see a new body come up that'll be in charge of the digital currency, whatever it may be. And eventually, you'll see this digital currency probably being used all over the world, even as the reserve currency.
Oh, who's been talking about that for years? And then we've got this. This is Matt Hamilton. I'm gonna skip this, but it's go to Real XRP Boy at boy_XRP and watch this. I really just had so much that I had to pack in here. Check this out. What do you guys think of my new play? He's got XRP.XLM. David Schwartz says they accidentally put a dot instead of a XRP is greater than XLM. Shots fired. And then there's shots fired here. I'm not going to show this one. I don't want this video to go too long. Again, go to Real XRP at boy_XRP. This guy's OG in XRP land, and he's put out some great videos here. I'm going to finish here. Turkish banks are now adopting Russian payment system. Turkey is considering joining BRICS. BRICS is working on a new global reserve currency and alternative mechanism for international payments. All these countries are stockpiling gold. Go figure. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that all these countries are stockpiling gold.